The city lights of New York glimmered through
Still
the
working?
floor-to-ceiling
There's
windows
so
of
much to
Marcus's
do.
penthouse, casting long
This coffee
reflections
is
across
perfect.
the polished marble
It
floors.
smells
The
amazing.
apartment was
Everything's
silent,
better with
except
you.
for the
Couldn't
faint
agree
hum
more.
of the air conditioning. Marcus had been sitting in his study, reviewing contracts for his latest business venture, when he heard a soft shuffle coming from the other side of the room. Curious, he put down his papers and followed the sound. To his surprise, he found Lily, his housemaid, sitting cross-legged on the floor by the small study desk. She was surrounded by a chaotic pile of textbooks and notebooks, scribbling diligently with a tired but determined expression. Her lamp cast a warm glow on her focused face, highlighting the subtle crease of concentration between her brows. Marcus paused for a moment, just watching her. He had always known Lily to be hardworking and responsible, but seeing her like this, completely immersed in her studies, was unexpectedly captivating. She didn't notice him at first. Completely absorbed in the notes, she was copying from one notebook to another. Her hair had slipped from its bun, falling softly over her shoulders. Marcus felt a strange pull in his chest. There was something about the way she committed herself to her goals, despite her long hours at work, that made him see her differently. It wasn't just admiration, it was something deeper, something he hadn't felt for anyone in a long time. Clearing his throat gently, he finally spoke Lily. Her head shot up, eyes wide with surprise. "Oh, Mr. Marcus, when I didn't hear you come in." She quickly closed her notebook. Her cheeks flushed pink. "I didn't mean to startle you," he said softly, stepping closer. "I just didn't expect to find you studying at this hour." Lily shifted uncomfortably, but smiled politely. "I have classes to keep up with, and I can only study after my work is done," she explained. "It's a little hard, but I managed." Marcus nodded, captivated by her honesty and the quiet determination in her voice. He realized that, while he had always viewed her as part of the household staff, her life outside this apartment was rich with ambition, dreams, and resilience. He wondered how many other people went through life unnoticed, like this, dedicating themselves to their goals without any recognition. Without fully understanding why, Marcus felt compelled to sit nearby. He didn't want to disturb her, but he didn't want to leave either. He asked questions about her studies, what subject she was focusing on, how she balanced school and work, and she answered with surprising clarity and intelligence. The more she spoke, the more he was drawn to her. That night, Marcus realized that something inside him had shifted. He hadn't just discovered Lily studying, he had discovered a part of her world he had never paid attention to before. And in that quiet, softly lit room, surrounded by textbooks and the hum of the city outside, Marcus felt the first stirrings of a feeling he couldn't ignore. For the first time, he found himself thinking not about contracts, investments, or business deals, but about Lily. The next morning, the New York City streets buzzed with life. As taxis honked and pedestrians hurried along the sidewalks, inside the penthouse, Marcus sipped his coffee, trying to focus on work, but his thoughts kept drifting back to Lily. He couldn't stop thinking about her dedication, the way she had been completely absorbed in her studies last night. There was something about her that lingered in his mind, a quiet strength that was rare and beautiful. When Lily appeared in the kitchen to clean, she moved with her usual efficiency, but there was a noticeable fatigue in her movements. Marcus set down his cup and looked up at her. "Did you get enough sleep?" he asked casually, careful to sound like he was simply making conversation. Lily froze for a moment, then gave a small smile. I slept a little," she admitted, trying not to seem tired. "Just enough to keep going." Marcus noticed the faint, dark circles under her eyes and felt a twinge of concern. "You're pushing yourself too hard," he said gently. "Maybe I can help you find some time during the day to rest, or even help with your studies." Her cheeks flushed and she looked down at her hands. "I appreciate it, Mr. Marcus, but I manage," she said softly. There was pride in her words, but Marcus could see the effort it took to maintain that composure. Over the next few days, Marcus found himself looking for excuses to talk to her. He asked questions about her classes, listened to her describe her assignments, and even offered small bits of advice. When she mentioned something confusing in her textbooks, Lily, at first hesitant, began to respond more openly. She appreciated his interest, but she was also cautious. She had always been aware of the boundaries between them, the gap that wealth and status created, yet with each conversation, that gap felt smaller. Marcus couldn't ignore the little things anymore. The way Lily tucked her hair behind her ear when she concentrated, the faint laugh that escaped her when she got a joke right, the determined glint in her eyes whenever she spoke about her dreams. He realized that his admiration had deepened into something else, Entirely, it wasn't just respect or curiosity. He was falling for her one evening. As Lily finished cleaning the living room, Marcus approached her with a warm smile. "You're really incredible, you know," he said almost unconsciously, balancing work school. Everything most people would have given up by now. Lily's cheeks turned pink again, and she looked down feeling both embarrassed and pleased. "I just want to make a better life for myself," she whispered. "And you will," Marcus said softly, his eyes meeting hers. There was a pause, a moment charged with unspoken words. "I think I might admire you more than I should," he admitted, his voice low. She glanced up, startled, but there was a spark in her eyes, a mix of curiosity and something deeper. For the first time, she saw Marcus not just as the wealthy man she worked for, but as someone who genuinely noticed her, someone who saw her for who she was. As the city lights outside flickered to life in the evening, Marcus realized that these small conversations, these shared moments, had created something neither of them had expected. Something that went beyond employer and employee, beyond social boundaries, something quietly, irresistibly real. And in that moment, he knew he wanted more, not just glimpses of her world, but a place in it. The evening in New York was unusually crisp, the wind carrying the faint hum of the city below. Marcus found himself standing on the rooftop terrace of his penthouse, staring out at the skyline glittering like a sea of stars. He had invited Lily up, casually mentioning the view, but in reality he had something more personal in mind. Lily hesitated as she stepped onto the terrace. The height made her a little uneasy, but curiosity pushed her forward. "It's beautiful up here," she admitted, gazing at the lights stretching across the city. Marcus smiled, standing beside her. "It's my favorite spot in the whole apartment," he said softly. "There's something peaceful about seeing the city from above. Like the chaos below doesn't touch you." Up here for a few moments they simply looked out together, a comfortable silence stretching between them. Then Marcus turned to her, his expression serious but gentle. "Lily, I've noticed how hard you work, how much effort you put into everything you do. I admire that more than I can really put into words." Lily's heart skipped a beat. No one had ever spoken to her like this before, noticed her dedication, her dreams, her life outside the apartment. She looked at him, eyes wide, unsure how to respond. "I thank you," she said softly. Marcus hesitated, then took a deep breath. "I think I've been feeling something I didn't expect. Seeing you, talking to you, I think I might be falling for you." Her cheeks flushed hot and she looked away, trying to hide her surprise. "Falling for me," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. She had never imagined someone like him, wealthy, confident, admired by many, would ever notice someone like her in this way. "Yes," Marcus said, stepping just a little closer. "I can't stop thinking about you. The way you work, the way you care about your studies, the way you face everything life throws at you. It's inspiring. I didn't plan for this, but I can't ignore it anymore." For a moment the city below seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them on the terrace. Lily felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. She had always kept herself focused on her goals, never allowing personal feelings to interfere. But standing here hearing Marcus speak so honestly, she felt something shift inside her. I've never had anyone see me like that," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "Most people just see me as the maid, not as me." Marcus reached out, gently taking her hand in his. "I see you, Lily. The real you, and I want to be part of your world if you'll let me." Her heart raced, but she didn't pull away. Instead, she let herself meet his gaze, seeing honesty and warmth there, things she had never expected to find in someone like him. In that quiet moment, with the lights of New York shimmering all around, the distance between them seemed to disappear. For the first time, Lily allowed herself to imagine a future where Marcus wasn't just her employer, and he wasn't just someone she admired from afar. In the cool night air, with the city stretching endlessly below, a new connection had begun, one filled with possibility, courage, and a quiet, undeniable spark. The days that followed were filled with subtle changes, quiet moments, and an unspoken understanding between Marcus and Lily. The city of New York continued to hum around them, but inside the penthouse time seemed to bend differently. Every conversation, every shared smile, carried a weight and warmth that neither had anticipated. Marcus found himself making small gestures, bringing Lily coffee during her late-night study sessions, leaving encouraging notes beside her textbooks, and sometimes simply sitting quietly as she worked. Offering silent support at first, Lily had been hesitant, unsure of how to navigate the new attention from her employer. But gradually she realized that Marcus's gestures weren't patronizing. They were genuine. He wasn't seeing her as a maid. He was seeing her as a person, as someone remarkable, capable, and worthy of love. One evening after a long day, Lily collapsed onto the sofa in exhaustion. Marcus sat beside her, handing her a cup of tea. "You're pushing yourself too hard," he said softly. "You need to rest." Lily smiled wearily, taking a sip. "I know, but I want to finish this assignment tonight." "It's important." Marcus watched her, his heart swelling with admiration. "And I'll help," he said, pulling a chair closer and opening his laptop beside her. They worked side by side, sharing ideas, laughing at mistakes and celebrating small victories. It wasn't just about academics or work. It was about connection. Each glance, each touch, each word brought them closer, weaving an invisible thread between their hearts. Days turned into weeks and their bond grew stronger. They shared private jokes, quiet dinners, and late-night walks on the terrace under the glow of the city lights. Marcus realized he didn't want to just admire Lily. He wanted to be present in her life, to support her dreams, and to share in her joys and struggles. Lily, in turn, found herself opening up in ways she never had before. She shared stories of her childhood, her aspirations, and even her fears. Marcus listened genuinely and patiently, making her feel seen in a way she had never experienced. One night as snow gently fell outside the windows, they stood together on the terrace once more. The city sparkled below, but all that mattered was the space between them. Marcus reached for Lily's hand. Entwining their fingers, "I care about you more than I ever expected," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Lily looked up at him, her heart racing. "And I feel the same," she said softly, her eyes glistening. In that moment, the distance between wealth and status, between employer and employee, melted away. All that remained was a shared understanding, trust, and the fragile, exhilarating start of love. The city could rush on below, but on that rooftop, in the quiet glow of their shared world, Marcus and Lily discovered something rare and profound. A connection that went beyond words. A love that had begun quietly, unexpectedly, and completely. As they stood there, hands clasped, hearts intertwined, both knew this was only the beginning. A beginning not defined by titles, wealth, or circumstance, but by the courage to see, to feel, and to love.